Welcome everyone to the G-Technic Lab Lesson Series. In these series we're going to take a more in-depth look at each one of our maintenance line. I'm here with Lee Kennedy. Lee's our Senior Formulation Chemist, and we're going to ask Lee all sorts of different questions about the technology and the why behind our products. So Lee, kick off. G-Wash. We've got a new version 2 of the G-Wash come out. What makes G-Wash so good at cleaning a car?
Within a shampoo like this, the main ingredients are surfactants. So their job is to emulsify all the dirt and grease that builds up on your car. The way a surfactant works is that water is a very small molecule and it's very highly polarised, so there's a positive and a negative. Grease and dirt are very large molecules and they're non-polar. So they have totally different bonding mechanisms. This is why oil and water don't mix. A surfactant, which you would have in a good shampoo, has one part of it that's very polarised, so positive and negative, and then attached to that is a large non-polar molecule. So it has both the characteristics of water and the oil and the dirt. So the way that works is you've got one end that will bond with water, one end that will bond with the dirt and be able to emulsify them and allow them to mix together. So with G-Wash, there's a very specific blend of surfactants that are designed to match the oil and the dirt that you're going to get built up on your car. So it's specifically designed to be able to strip that off and clean your car to the maximum efficiency.
So in terms of stripping things, we don't really ever advocate using a dishwashing detergent, do we? Because in a lot of people's minds, sometimes you can pick up a bit of dishwashing detergent or some other type of soap, other household soap.
Use dish wash up liquid as an example. So that has been designed for the grease that comes with food. So all those oils that build up on your plate or your pots and your pans, it does a fantastic job of stripping that off. That's different in its nature to the dirt that's going to build up on your car. So again, this has been specifically designed for that style of dirt to maximise the emulsification process, so you're removing as much dirt as you can without using any harsh chemicals or being too high on the pH scale. So it's more the nature of the surfactants rather than the aggressive chemicals that we're using.
Cool. So in a nutshell, really, better to use a car wash for car because it's been specifically designed for that purpose rather than trying to get away using any other sort of detergent.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've just recently developed the product and come up with a V2. So there's a couple of interesting bits of chemistry that we've sort of tweaked and enhanced. Can you give us a little bit of a lowdown on those?
So firstly, we put in an additional surfactant. So again, this is just improve the quality of the blend of surfactants in there to remove even more dirt than we did with V1. But secondly, we've also looked into wetting agents. So wetting agents are slightly different from emulsifiers in that they will make a liquid wet out across a surface and completely cover it. We started noticing with certain styles of car shampoo on our coated vehicles, because when you coat a vehicle with a ceramic coating, you're reducing the surface energy, so it makes it much harder to wet out.
So that makes it harder for, say, a shampoo to actually stick to the surface and stay on the surface?
Yeah, and what you'll see is it almost shine away from the surface and see dry patches. This causes two problems. The first is that the shampoo isn't staying on the surface long enough for it to really strip away all the dirt and the grease. Secondly, on those dry patches, as you go over with the wash mitt, you're risking putting some marring in there because there's not the sufficient lubrication that you get. So we've added an extra set of wetting agents to make sure that we really get this surface coverage, even with a brand new coated car, which is very difficult to wet out.
Okay, cool. So I mean that's just works just as well on an uncoated car as it does on a coated car, doesn't
yes,
it?
Yeah. So certainly you wouldn't see this
It's sort of splitting out, this wetting,
out on an uncoated car because it's easier to wet out the surface. But still, this will work brilliantly on an uncoated car, and uncoated cars are harder to clean. So the advantage you'd have with this, again, it's a really high quality shampoo. The technology behind the surfactants is as good as it gets, and it's really going to help clean it off. So coated or uncoated is going to work just as well.
Brilliant. So I mean, in terms of shampoos, that's just a good all-round quality shampoo.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we've literally just launched our ceramic G-Wash.
Yes.
Now, ceramic G-wash is very different from the standard G-wash, clearly.
Yes.
First thing I noticed is when I was putting it in, there's no foam.
No, there's not, which is very strange. If we go back to washing up liquid, you know that once there's no suds in your washing up bowl, that there's probably too much grease in there and it's not working anymore. That's not what's happening here. Foaming actually has nothing to do with cleaning at all.
So that's quite a big misconception, is it? Because people
Yes,
assume
well,
lots of foam means lots of cleaning.
most time when we use any sort of detergent or cleaning product, it will foam. So we associate the two together, but it's when you add surfactants into water, you reduce the surface tension of water, which gives it the ability to form bubbles, which it didn't have previously. With the ceramic G-wash, the nature of the surfactants used in there to balance out the ceramics and the ceramic itself stop any bubbles from foaming. You might get a slight bit of bubbling when you first fill the bucket, but it breaks down very quickly. Again, this has absolutely nothing to do with the actual cleaning power of the product, so it will still, as previous before, the surfactant blend is there to help remove all the dirt and oil from your car, and it's still got the cleaning power, but as you said, there's no suds, which is a bit strange at first.
Very odd, yeah. But you do kind of get used to it. And I noticed that even though when you get past the whole lack of suds, actually the cleaning ability in it is really, really strong.
Yes. Yeah.
If not, I would say, if not as good as a G-wash, a little bit better.
Yeah, so it's got very strong cleaning power, and it's got very good lubricity as well, so the mitt feels nice and easy as it goes over the car, so it's not gripping at all. It will clean your car to a really high standard.
So just picking up on the lubricity, I know we just mentioned a minute ago with the G-wash that these wetting agents are there to stop the product splitting out. You do notice it on the G-wash, on the ceramic G-wash, don't you? That's splitting out, but you can't really stop it, can you?
You can't, because it's actually causing the problem itself. So the layer of ceramic protection that goes down will actually cause the shampoo to then shy away from the surface. The advantage you get from this is that the ceramic protection will give you the lubricity that you need, so you're not going to cause any marring, and it's there to protect your paintwork as well. So it causes the problem, but it solves the problem in itself. We didn't feel the need to put in even more and more wetting agents to try and overcome this, because we're not seeing it as a problem. We don't want to put anything in there that isn't 100% required.
Yeah, and I certainly noticed that it is more slicker on the surface when you're washing the car than a G-wash. You do get, it feels a lot less resistance, but you can see that ceramic protection going down.
That's because as you're washing the car, you're adding a layer of ceramic protection to the surface, so that is giving you a much slicker feel, and just, because it lowers the surface energy, so it just feels a lot smoother and a lot slicker than it would have done.
And I guess this product, the ceramic G-wash, it's been engineered for a specific purpose, as in it's almost, if you've got a coated car and you want a really good shampoo, G-wash is the product to go to.
Yeah.
However, for those maybe new to the range, or if they're looking for a product that they just want to wash their car with and crack on with the rest of their day, they can do that.
Precisely. The idea behind the ceramic G-wash is that it's very easy to use, it's very quick, and then you get your ceramic protection. So all you have to do is wash your car, and then from there it's protected. And when we say protected, what we're talking about is it's going to make it much harder for dirt and grime to stick to your car. One thing you'll see water beading, which a lot of people love. So this is when any water on the surface beads up, because it's trying to get away from the surface. The water is more strongly bonded to itself than it is to the surface, because you've lowered the amount of energy on the surface. But the same principle applies to any dirt or anything trying to adhere to that surface. So your car's going to stay cleaner, and then when you come to wash it again, it's easier to clean. So any dirt and grime comes off more easily, so you're less likely to put any mar in it when you do your contact wash.
And in terms of compatibility, I'm guessing it's fine for coated, uncoated, waxed, sealants, any type of surface?
Yeah, it can be used on any surface at all. So this is a last stage product, similar to sealants like Easy Coat or C2 in nature, but this is just a different way of applying it. So certain customers are going to prefer this as well. Very good in the winter time as well, if you're looking to just give your car a good thorough clean and then get some additional protection as well.
And in terms of protection, we make a claim that it's up to 3 months durability. That's relevant, but you do quite a lot of testing here on some of your machines to kind of validate that claim, if you like, that's made.
Yes, so we run lots of durability testing here in the lab. Then we benchmark that against our products that are out in the natural environment and competitors' products as well. So yeah, a really good idea of how they'll last. Plus as well, everything we do goes on a lot of cars before it ever leaves and goes out into sale. So we have to really find a good correlation between the lab testing and field testing, which is very important because lab data is good in that it can generate a lot of numbers so you can show repeatability. But at the same time, you need to actually prove what that means and what the customer will experience from this. So we get a broad, balanced approach to that as well.
And I suppose the British winter always helps, because what's worse than a British winter? Maybe like a Icelandic or Nordic winter, but we've got the perfect sort of proving ground to do this.
British roads are notorious for how much dirt they kick up, so it's very good. So a lot of all the staff here, everyone's cars are used for testing, people volunteer them. We obviously take good care of people's vehicles, but we use them to test and assess the products to see if there can be issues. Also as well, we have G-Technic Works, who are a very experienced detailing team who using products day in, day out. They can know the issues you can have. So we work very closely with them to get their feedback on any new product. So everything goes through the works again before it be released for sale.
Okay. So just getting into the application really of both products.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the G-Wash is a couple of capfuls of product into a bucket.
Yes.
The ceramic G-Wash, it's a little different, and I don't know if other people clocked it, but there is a little measuring jug which we've got here, or a measuring cap. Why have we got the measuring cap with this one?
Just to make sure that people are using the precise amount they need. You don't want to use too much product here. One, it is quite an expensive product, but you don't need a small amount at a time. So we don't want people pouring a lot out. Plus, well, it's very thin. Like if you look at the tune bucket, this is quite a thick product. So if you pour it out, it pours out quite slowly. Whereas this is a much thinner product. Again, that's just to do with the surface tensions within the mixture that cause a reduction in viscosity. So we put a measuring cap on just to make sure that people are only using what they need to use, because you don't want people putting way too much in the bucket. That's not going to cause you any problems if you do, but you're just going to go through your litre of product very quickly.
So we normally say 40 ml in a 20 litre bucket.
Yes.
Now, in terms of surfaces, we're quite prescriptive about the sort of surface that it needs to be applied to. So, yes, the car can be dirty, but we also say a cool surface and cool water.
Yes. The reason for this is that if the panels of your car are hot, so they're in direct sunlight, or if you use hot water to either do the contact wash with or rinse off, you can cause the ceramic sealant to basically dry out too quickly. And this will lead to some high spots that come across like a very light milky staining. So you have to do everything with cold water. So this means you get a nice even coverage and that you don't get any of these issues.
And you can actually boost it in addition to just washing the vehicle, can't you? You can put a bit directly onto the wash mitt. What does that do, and how would you work it?
So you would just apply the product neat onto a wash mitt, go around a panel at a time, just spread it around and then rinse it off on that panel and move on to the next one. All that's doing is giving you a thicker, more efficient layer of the ceramic, so you'll see more pronounced effects from that. Once you've done that once, and then just continue washing it, be that every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever your particular wash program is for your car, and that will just help boost it up and keep the water bead and the dirt repellents as it first was.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. If we've missed anything, please feel free to drop it into the comments below and we'll make sure we get the questions answered. Thanks for joining us.